it hasn't been good, here comes another one. What time is up? Way too stuck up in my head, I don't know what I've been running from.
When it comes to Death Battle does a lot of research as to who it will fight. Now, it's not perfect, obviously, nothing ever is, but at the end of the day, they try their hardest and they admit when they're wrong. However, a lot of people just act as if there's nothing going on in their brains, and I'm just like, But this video is more so centered around the animations themselves. Like, a lot of times people will just get so angry over, like, a character doing something in the animation. And I'm just sitting here like, yo, does the rule of cool not apply? Like, a lot of times people want, like, an episode to be just, like, a 20-second fight and then that's it. And I'm like, what the fuck do you want them to do? Because, like, the point of a crossover is to have two characters do some cool-ass shit together, whether they're fighting each other or other things like that. Like, say, for instance, a Jimmy-Timmy Power Hour. You don't want Jimmy getting wished away by Timmy to, like, the sun or something. That's just not fun. You don't want, like, Yuji versus Denji, where Yuji just, like, one-shots him and then that's it. Who would sit there and want that? One day I really do hope that Death Battle drops an episode like that, unironically, just to see how people will take it. Like, they're gonna be like, oh, now Death Battle's not doing any animations anymore? Like, yeah, because y'all kept complaining about it. I've had it happen in my comment section too. I don't think it's like the fader. The calling y'all the faders might be one of the worst things I've gonna come up with. I don't think it's y'all specifically, or at least like a few of y'all. So many people that come randomly from the videos will just say like, oh, this should have ended in like 5 seconds. And I'm just like, let's check in on the squid. What? Now for stuff like agenda posts, I typically make the fights end super quickly, but that's only because they're like joke animations. They're not serious. But if I'm like genuinely doing like a power scaling video like Vegeta versus Shadow, I'm not going to like have it end in like 5 seconds where Vegeta one-shots him. That's extremely boring. And it's just so annoying because he would just simply can't suspend belief. Now, to be fair, I was on Twitter, so to be honest, there wasn't really going to be anything of value from there. But still, it's a little sad. If there was an official crossover that happened, Denji and Yuji would have a significantly closer fight. I don't know why people can't just go, man, I can't wait to watch this Denji versus Yuji fight, and then if they disagree with the research, they just talk about why they disagree with the research. Like, you don't even have to like the animation either. You could just be like, oh, I didn't even like the animation and the research, I thought it was a little rough. Or, you know, just give criticism. Because at the end of the day, why our characters have to one-shot each other? It's just incredibly boring. Especially when you take into consideration their research in the first place, and how Yuji, I'm pretty sure, was on the same level as Denji in his base form, and then really Pochita and Denji, man, was like on like that higher tier. People were just like, oh, if they used Modulo, oh, it would've been over. But they did. Like in the research thing, they did. And that's how you can tell that niggas are just LARPing watching the death battle or not understanding about JJK's abilities. Because the big complaint that people had with Yuji versus Denji was the domain. Even though there was snow in Yuji's domain, which does apply to himself as a character. If I recall correctly, it's because winter is just such an important time to Yuji, which is why we see snow in a forest in that death battle. I had a whole argument with my friends. I completely forgot about the snow thing, by the way, like how it was in Yuji's domain. And you know, I was saying like, maybe it's a stylistic choice because they already were in the city, so to take them to another city would be a little ridiculous. But also, I saw a lot of people say that, oh, they should just have it switch from like a city to like snow or whatever, and I also think that would be a little hard to do. Like, animation is not easy, and considering they have a deadline, imagine having to switch through multiple backgrounds. It's hard for me to do that shit, let alone like 3D like animators. So even if it was like a little wrong, I don't really see how they like fundamentally misunderstood it. Like a lot of things that people saw in the animation that they were kind of pinpointing out are just like kind of like little inconsistencies that you can literally just say are like, you know, it's just something for the rule of cool. And people just can't suspend that belief, and it's just really annoying. Because if Yuji won, nobody would be complaining about that. Like, and that's my problem. JJK fans are LARPers first, and then like babies second. Now, in my opinion, the Yuji versus Denji death battle was really good. I didn't have much complaints on it. I think the research was pretty rough, in my opinion, but I can understand why they had Denji win. I personally think that Yuji wins. If y'all want to see a Yuji versus Denji video, 50 likes, But at the same time, I can see their arguments and why they have that character win. But in general, it's just kind of annoying because I just feel like they don't really see Death Battle as people. Like, sure, they can make mistakes and all that, but at the end of the day, they're still people. It just kind of sucks that people just can't really seem to, like, give them that luxury. Especially since power scaling is already such a subjective format. I definitely think at some point there are, like, objective ways for characters to win. Like, Goku Black versus Reverse Flash, for example. A lot of things depend on how you scale those characters. Some people have Yuji at, like, planetary, based on, like, that Yorozu perfect sphere or something, or like the black hole feat. Or the State Swords, for example, where a lot of people say Denji survived only because he ate the Death Devil. Or, you know, some people will say that he does scale to it anyway. In general, there are different interpretations for everything, and I think that's like one of the best parts about fiction and power scaling in general, because there's always going to be an interesting debate. So I can completely understand where people are coming from in the sense of like, oh, they just want their character represented well, and that's a completely fair argument. However, a lot of times people are complaining over things that happen in said series. Like, a lot of the issues that people have brought up about Yuji versus Denji Death Battle were already like explained in the analysis or in the said series itself. Denji drinking Yuji's blood? Yeah, they said that Denji would be able to resist his poison. Now, even myself, I don't personally agree with that, but based on their research alone, it shouldn't bring down the animation because of it. Denji walking through Yuji's shrine, Denji has insane regeneration according to their research. So, Denji would be able to probably walk through. Yuji having to activate it, Yuji specifically has a domain where he can literally cancel and reapply it at will. So please, if you're the person that watches Death Battle often, sometimes you just gotta calm down and think to yourself, okay, first of all, am I really thinking of this Death Battle clearly? Did I watch the research 100%? And then you can make your own disagreements with the research later. But at the very least, give them the respect for doing an insane feat of making a cool animation for everybody to watch and doing a bunch of research for people to enjoy. Now, this next segment, I don't really know when ever to make this video. It's just kind of like a small disagreement I had with one of their episodes, and that being Omni-Man versus Bardock. Now, this episode is very, very, very controversial, and I have seen everybody and their mama hate it. Honestly, I could make a Dragon Ball and Invincible video probably, but that's not the point. I think if they didn't give Bardock like Super Saiyan, I think it would have been significantly easier for them to argue that Omni-Man wins. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth with it because I want to talk about it in Invincible versus Spider-Man, but I do think that Omni-Man is planet level, probably a bit higher. Bardock is also planet level, if not a little higher as well, just based on stuff like the King Vegeta feat. On top of that, Omni-Man is likely faster than Bardock anyway, so you can easily argue that Omni-Man could just like fly Bardock into space and then be able to take most of Bardock's hits and then just send him to space and die. I think there are a significant number of ways to argue Omni-Man winning against base Bardock. But not only did they soft comp Bardock with Super Bardock, a character that is on the level of Ginyu, but you also gave him Super Saiyan, which would have put him on like 4th form Frieza level, probably when he's holding back, but still insane. Enough to insanely clear the gap and just have like Omni-Man down the stick. You could probably use Uzaru with Super Bardock and it would still probably be in Bardock's favor. I think it generally they just only use like Z Bardock, then yeah, Omni-Man would have won. And it would have made a lot more sense for people. It always just bothered me because even when the episode came out and I was 100% like, oh yeah, I could see how Omni-Man could win because it was just such a debatable matchup at the time in like the Death Battle server. But then I thought about it and I was like, wait a minute, they gave him Super Saiyan and Super Bardock. Yeah, something ain't right here. I think generally it was just a mistake that they made on their part, rather than, you know, something incredibly horrible, you know? And then Senshi vs. Superboy Prime is coming out. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I haven't really read comics of both, but I've always seen Superman Prime. I thought he was kind of cool just from like his screenshots alone. I think the concept of like a guy coming into comics is pretty sick. Honestly, I thought he was gonna fight Gwenpool, but guess not. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see on how that episode turns out. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to make a video talking about it because I thought like people were being a bit too excessive with it. Fire vs. Invincible will come out this summer. I am 100% confident on that. Sonic vs. Mario, I'm not sure if it'll come out this summer, but it'll definitely come out this year. And there will be more videos coming out soon. The Homelander video is coming out this month as well. If you guys want something specific, just let me know down below. I really do like seeing y'all suggestions, so please let me know what you want to see. If this video does get like 50 likes, as I said before, I'll do a Yuji vs Denji video, and I'll explain why I think Yuji wins, because I kind of already spoiled it. So yeah, I won't make it a 10-second animation though. That's kind of shitty. But yeah, I digress. Thank y'all so much for watching. Have a great day.